guys, so as you can probably tell, my hair is a little bit different from the platinum blonde that it was before. Apparently I'm going as Hayley Williams for Halloween now. I had light blonde for about 6 months, which is a really long time for me, so I must have liked it. Unfortunately, I went back to the salon that I usually go to and it went horribly wrong. My hair just didn't lighten, so we left the bleach on for ages and it ended up like a brassy yellow with white ends, and it just looked really, really bad. No matter what we did, we tried toning it, we tried leaving the bleach on longer. I ended up with chemical burns and scabs and everything on my head. It was really, really bad, and I felt really self-conscious. And it was then that I just thought, bleach is just it's too much for me. The whole bleach blonde thing, it's just too much effort. My hair doesn't like it. So I basically took it upon myself a couple of days ago to start the process of taking it down to more of a reddy brown, except I got a bit carried away and went Hayley Williams red orange. My bad. Can't help it. I get to a nice normal color and then I just go vibrant. Oh, it feels good to have this hair though. It feels really, really good. So for those of you who are just dying to say, you said you wouldn't color your hair anymore after you shaved it, blah, 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 blah. I felt really bad about my hair and I didn't want to feel bad about my hair. That's it. Anyway, so that is why I did it, because it went horribly wrong. But now I figured I would just make a video talking about how I did it. I did this obviously myself from the really brassy yellow that I had, and I've been dyeing my hair by myself for like about 10 years, and I've made a lot of mistakes in the past, and I've learned from my mistakes, and I figured that maybe me just talking about what I did might save you from making the same mistakes that I've made in the past. It wasn't just a case of buying a box of Schwarzkopf XXL semi-permanent vibrant orange, because that's very bad for the hair. This way is a lot safer, and just taking it slower is a lot better. My hair was like in pretty brittle condition because of all the bleaching, and I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to fall out of my head. And it didn't, and it's totally good. So this is what I did. So my hair was basically a mixture of brassy yellow and a really, really cool white kind of blonde. I basically had to do what is called pre-pigmentation, and I'm not going to be any good at explaining this. Google it, it's going to be much easier to understand than this awful explanation. So my hair was this really cool platinum blonde. I don't mean cool like trendy, I mean like it had no warmth to it. There was no sort of brassiness. You didn't see any yellow in my hair. If I had tried to put a reddish brownish box dye on top of that platinum blonde hair, it would have just gone this really murky kind of greeny brown colour. And that's basically because my hair had no warm pigment left in it. We toned it out when I went platinum blonde. So if I used a box dye that had the warm pigment in, my hair would have soaked up all of that warm pigment, but it wouldn't have been reflected back out. The only thing that would have been reflected would have been the cool tones in the box dye. So it would have just been a plain cool brown colour. So I basically had to do what's called pre-pigmentation, which means basically putting the warm tones back into your hair before using the colour that you want to put on your hair as the final kind of thing. Pre-pigmentation is actually a lot easier to do than it sounds. It's just a case of getting like a wash-in, wash-out colour that will deposit the warm tone that you need. Now I use something that I've used before in the past, and it's like, I swear it's like a hidden gem on the UK high street. It is this Superdrug Colour Effects Wash In, Wash Out in Light Strawberry Blonde. You can see on there, it's kind of just a really, really warm blonde. And this thing costs like £2. It is seriously a miracle worker if you want to do pre-pigmentation. So basically what I did was I wet my platinum / brassy blonde hair. I put this on it, lathered it in, left it for about 10 minutes, washed it out, and my hair was this corally kind of really light pastel orange, and it looked gross and it was patchy, but all of the warm pigment was back in the hair because it was peachy, meaning that the warm pigment had been deposited in my hair again. That was it. That's pre-pigmentation. It looks ugly as hell, but then you put on the dye that you want. After that, I pretty much dried it and then used a nice and easy 24 shampoo semi-permanent hair color in, I don't know, I threw away the box, but this is it right here. That's the box that I used. Now, if my hair was in good condition, I probably could have just used a permanent hair dye that would have already given me this color, but my hair was in kind of bad condition from the bleaching, and semi-permanent has less hydrogen peroxide in it, and basically does less damage. And I also didn't really know what I wanted to do with my hair. So it left it this reddish brown color, and I was kind of happy with it. It was okay. It's like an auburn kind of, you know, I could deal with that. It was okay. It was even, and it was warm, and it was a decent kind of color. and then I missed having vibrant hair. Damn it! So today I went to my local hair and beauty shop and I purchased these bad boys. This is the Crazy Color in Orange, number 60. And this is the La Riche Directions in Apricot. I took a mixing bowl and then put in a full bottle of Crazy Color, followed by a few generous scoops of the Directions Apricot, simply because I didn't know how reddish the Crazy Color was going to come out, so I wanted to have more of an orange kind of tone to it. I then put a generous layer of Vaseline all over my forehead, all over my ears and the back of my neck, simply because Crazy Color stains so much, and if you get it on your skin, it will last longer on your skin than it does on your hair. I then mixed the colours together and then just proceeded to put it onto my head. Once it was on, I covered my entire head in cling film, which made me look really weird. And I left that mix on for about an hour. It does say on the bottle about 15 minutes, but basically with these stains, the longer you leave it on your hair, the more vibrant and the more sort of soaked in it becomes, and the longer it should last, in theory, if your hair's not too damaged. And then that was it. So that's how I went from platinum blonde to a reddish brown to Hayley Williams orange in about 2 days without really damaging my hair whatsoever. The only damaging part would have been the semi-permanent box dye that I used, but that itself was only on for about 10 minutes and it didn't really have that much hydrogen peroxide in it because it's semi-permanent. People always say that hair stains such as Crazy Color and Directions damage your hair. They absolutely do not. You may find if you use them very often it can dry your hair out a little bit, but it doesn't actually damage the hair shaft. It just lays a colour stain over the top. So take that, people who always say that it's bad for you. Ha! It is not. So long as you keep up with like hair masks and conditioning treatments, your hair will stay absolutely baby soft for as long as you use these sort of stains. And then that was it. That's what I did. So that's what pre-pigmentation is, and that is how to do bright colours safely without using those awful XXL box dyes. Please, if you're watching this and you're from the UK and if you have access to those XXL box dyes, please do not use them. They are the most damaging thing you could ever put on your hair. They have like the most strong hydrogen peroxide to lift your hair as much as possible. If you're trying to go from black to platinum blonde, please don't use their platinum blonde box dye. It's so bad for you. I would advise using any other box dye except XXL. It's just horrific. If you want a colour to last, yes, it will last, but your hair will feel awful after a few washes. The only reason your hair feels soft after using it is the conditioner that they give you. It's full of things like silicone, and when you dry your hair with a high heat, it basically locks in that colour, and that's why you're never able to properly shift permanent hair dyes from XXL. Anyway, rant over. This has nothing to do with XXL, and I'm never going to get a sponsorship from them now. Good! I only do sponsorships for things that I like, and that stuff, I have learnt my lesson many times. Don't use it. I hope this video was somewhat helpful. Always remember to wear gloves and use just a thin layer of Vaseline all over where you think you're gonna get your hair dye. Do look up pre-pigmentation. I didn't do a very good job explaining it. I hope it made sense. It just essentially gives you a really good base to work with so that you get the color that you want rather than just, surprise, you have green hair. Gross green, not nice green, like murky kind of green. Been there. Been there. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and if you'd like any other sort of hair advice, if you think I'm good enough to give it, then let me know in the comments below what you'd like me to talk about, and I will do my best to try and explain it. I'm not a hairdresser, I'm not a professional colorist, but hey, you wouldn't know. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye! And yes, I know I don't look anything like Hayley Williams, okay? We can dream. We can dream.